So, the idea for this video changed. I realized that I had one page left in this watercolor sketchbook, and I thought that I would do the painting and then do a sketchbook tour. And then I realized it was too long and that it needed to be split up. And so I had to go through and totally design my edit about 90% of the way through it. And so come along with me for a ride. And so instead of a sketchbook tour this week, we just have a speed paint. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that I've been thinking about. One of the things that I've been thinking about and that I'm terribly excited about is our our viewpoint as a artist. And a lot of art that's been coming through my feed, because I like that kawaii aesthetic, has an Asian twist to it, because I feel like Loki, that is the birthplace of the kawaii aesthetic, the really super cute, you know, Hello Kitty and Cinnamon Roll and the Star Twins, they all come from that place. And I absolutely love them. But as a viewer of them and want to incorporate that aesthetic, I also need to acknowledge that while I grew up with these characters, that and so they're part of my story, that my story is bigger than that. And one of the coolest things about my story that I want to share with the internet at this point in time is I'm from Texas. I did not grow up in Texas. I'm a transplant. I came and visited Texas as a young college student and fell in love with it. I've been all over the United States. I've been to a lot of different places, and like none of them ever lit that fire of like, this is a place I could build my home. And Texas absolutely built that flame and of like, this could be home. And I've been building my home in Texas and I love it. Um, it's a very different culture than a lot of other places that I've lived, and it isn't a bad culture. Uh, I don't think that it's for everybody, um, but I definitely wanted to move here and become a part of this culture, and so that's why I've got y'all come back here. Y'all is a very southern expression. It is absolutely a Texas thing as well as the cowboy culture, but it was probably like the first inkling that I might have a place in my heart or be the type of person to have the romance to want to be here and live here and do the things here. I lived in the southernmost, no, northernmost southern state, and that's where y'all became part of my uh, everyday lexicon, which is your common vocabulary, your slang and whatnot. And when I was thinking about doing this piece, my little Western frog, I went and I looked at Frederickson. I don't know who James Remington is. Frederick Remington is the artist that I looked at his work. He is known for a lot of bronze cast work, like the bunking Bronco cowboy work, and they're gorgeous. But he also did illustrations and Western paintings, and he has this beautiful soft pastel palette of some like really masculine stuff. It's so good. If you ever have a chance to like go and see his use of color and brushwork in person, it's a treat, even if you aren't into bucking Broncos and boys. I feel like he makes sense in a world that has already seen Impressionism come through, and his use of color for time of day. Mwah! And so I started off with thinking about him and the beautiful, soft, warm, pastel colors, and using my cute characters and trying to make that sort of thing happen. And then I started thinking about, like, really thinking about another thing that I have been thinking about, which is the art of storytelling in illustration. And so, in being a member of the modern world, I am used to seeing a lot of pictures that are like spot illustrations. They're an item, they're a person with a white background. And so I'm very comfortable and familiar with imagery that is given to us in that sort of format. And it is 100% backed up by online shopping. That's the best way to tell you about an online product. But just because it's familiar and I'm comfortable with it doesn't mean that it helps to tell my story or anybody's story well. I think that even adding a color in the background can give you a sense of convey like a sense of story in place. Like this frog is not impending doom. He's in a happy, warm, glowy, friendly, comfortable, cozy place with that yellow. But I thought, I can do better. And so I went and looked at travel posters, and then I looked at different styles of Texas landscape. And in West Texas, they have land formations called buttes, especially by the Big Bend Park, and they're like mountains that are flat on the top. And they are inherently Western to me in my thinking. And we have them here in Texas. And I went and saw, I can't tell how many I saw as a child. And so I wanted to include them in this painting with my cowboy frog, who, even though I don't ride horses and I don't rodeo anymore, I totally was raised with the rodeo being a part of my culture. I can remember the town that I grew up in having a rodeo that would come to town every year, and there'd be a parade to welcome the start of the rodeo. And I can remember watching the parade. I can remember being a person participating in the parade. And I can also remember my entire elementary school being part of this parade, and then coming to the rodeo, and as our school trip, watching the rodeo. And so that is 100% like a really happy place that it's a part of my story, it's part of my life, and it's really cool. And not everybody gets to like be like, this is part of my cultural identity, this is part of who I am, this is part of my story, and I get to share it. And so that is why I was like, I gotta do a cowboy and I had a lot of fun. And the town that I live in now actually has the county rodeo in it, and I went and saw it, and it was just really affirming to me, um, as part of my tradition in my world to go see it, and it's a lot of fun. You might be seeing some more cute cowboy stuff. I don't know what it's gonna look like, but I'm excited for it, and the little artist gears are turning in my head. And that's pretty much all I have to say, y'all. And so I love you so much. I'm gonna let the outro do the musicy thing, and I'll say, y'all come back now. I love you so much. Have the best day ever. Bye.